Step back in time and rediscover the forgotten pasta recipes lovingly passed down by Italian grandmas. These dishes were handmade, heartfelt, and full of flavor. Let's bring them back to life together. Rustic and hearty, Pizzoccheri is a buckwheat pasta born in the Alpine region of Valtellina, northern Italy. Shaped like short, thick ribbons, it was traditionally made by hand using a mix of buckwheat and wheat flours, kneaded until firm, then sliced with a knife. The pasta's earthy flavor pairs perfectly with its signature accompaniments: cabbage, potatoes, garlic, butter, and melted cassera cheese. It was the ultimate mountain comfort food, warm, heavy, and rich, perfect for cold winters and big family meals. This dish wasn't about presentation, it was about satisfaction. The buckwheat made it filling, while the melted cheese brought indulgence. As modern diets shifted and factory pasta took over, Pizzoccheri fell out of favor outside its home region. But those who remember it know, this dish is pure northern soul. Today, it's making a quiet return in rustic trattorias and among adventurous home cooks. It's time to rediscover the pasta that hugged you from the inside out. Strangozzi, also known as priest stranglers or shoelaces, is a long, square-cut pasta from Umbria with a chewy bite and ancient origins. Traditionally made without eggs, just flour and water, it was rolled by hand, then sliced into thick strands resembling leather cords. It got its name from its shape, but also from a dark folklore tied to anti-clerical sentiment, though most grandmas preferred to ignore that part. Strangozzi was the go-to pasta for everyday meals, often tossed with black truffle, wild mushrooms, or a simple garlic tomato sauce. Its eggless dough made it affordable and accessible, and its firm texture made it ideal for soaking up robust sauces. Over time, however, it was overshadowed by smoother, factory-made spaghetti and tagliatelle. But among traditional Umbrian kitchens, Strangozzi still holds a place of honor. It's simple, hearty, and handmade, exactly how Grandma liked it. Don't let the name scare you. It's one of Italy's most satisfying hidden gems. Corzetti are as beautiful as they are delicious. Thin rounds of pasta, traditionally stamped with wooden molds to create intricate designs on each disc. Hailing from Liguria, Corzetti date back to the Middle Ages, when noble families had their own pasta stamps carved with family crests. Grandmas would roll out sheets of fresh dough, punch out the coins, then press each one with a stamp, creating grooves that weren't just decorative, but also perfect for catching sauce. The most common pairing was a rich walnut cream sauce or a herby pine nut pesto, both local to Liguria. Making Corzetti was a slow, meditative process, often passed down from mother to daughter. As stamps disappeared from kitchens and boxed pasta rose, this labor-intensive art faded. But now, artisans and home cooks alike are rediscovering it. These elegant little medallions prove that pasta can be both humble and royal. But wait until you see the next pasta. So thin, it was nicknamed the Angel's Thread. Capunti, a humble pasta from Puglia, resembles tiny canoes or pressed ovals made by dragging your fingers across the dough. Made from just semolina and water, Capunti was a pasta of the people, crafted by hand on wooden tables, often with the help of children. The indentations weren't just pretty, they served a purpose, holding thick sauces like a true southern sponge. Often paired with fava beans, sautéed greens, or meaty ragu, Capunti had bite, chew, and rustic beauty. Grandmas used whatever flour they had on hand and often flavored the dough with a pinch of herbs or black pepper. Though rarely seen outside of southern Italy, Capunti carries a long-standing tradition of communal cooking, one where texture mattered as much as taste. Over time, its labor-intensive shaping caused it to fade from daily rotation, but it remains a beloved regional dish. Reviving Capunti is like reviving the kitchen as a family workshop, hands-on, tactile, and full of soul. Fregula, or Fregula, is Sardinia's version of pasta pearls, small hand-rolled balls of semolina that are toasted for a nutty flavor and golden hue. Shaped by rubbing semolina with water in a large bowl, then oven toasting the granules, this pasta was traditionally dried in the sun. Sardinian grandmas would make batches big enough to last the season. Fregula's signature toasty flavor made it ideal for absorbing rich broths or seafood sauces, especially clams, tomatoes, saffron, and olive oil. It was often called Italian couscous, but it's uniquely Sardinian in taste and preparation. Though Fregula has gained popularity in recent years among foodies, many still haven't tried this ancient gem. Its rustic texture, versatility, and satisfying chew make it perfect for soups, salads, or hearty mains. Grandmas knew a handful of Fregula could turn leftovers into something magical. Have you ever tried Fregula or made it from scratch like the Sardinian nonnas? Let us know in the comments. Despite its wiggly name, derived from lombrico, Italian for earthworm, Lombrichelli is a thick, hand-rolled pasta that's incredibly comforting and delicious. Native to Lazio, particularly around Viterbo, it's made with just flour and water, kneaded into ropes about the thickness of a pencil and longer than spaghetti. The process is soothing, often done by hand with a little flour on the table and nothing but muscle memory guiding the length. Lombrichelli was a go-to peasant pasta, often served with tomato-based sauces, garlic and oil, or anchovy blends. Its thickness gave it a satisfying chew, and its shape held sauce like a charm. Over time, more refined pasta types like linguine and bucatini pushed it aside. But ask any Roman grandma and she'll tell you, Lombrichelli holds tradition you can taste. Making it means slowing down and getting your hands dirty in the best way. But if thick pasta ropes aren't your thing, wait until you meet the pasta that looks like petals in bloom. Fiori di pasta, literally pasta flowers, was a celebratory dish made for holidays, weddings, or saints' days. Shaped like tiny blossoms, this pasta was often formed using a small wooden mold, or by carefully pinching and folding the dough into petals by hand. It wasn't everyday fare. It was special. Grandmas would gather with sisters and neighbors to make dozens of these little floral shapes, drying them on cloths before boiling. Served with butter and sage, ricotta, or slow-simmered meat sauces, Fiori di pasta symbolized abundance and care. Its delicate appearance belied a dense, satisfying texture. Over time, the painstaking labor required meant it became reserved for only the most traditional households, and then faded altogether from many tables. But reviving it is like bringing back edible art. Making Fiori di pasta today is a meditative, creative act that connects you with generations of love, faith, and food. It's not just pasta. It's a handmade bouquet from the past. Bigoli is the proud, chewy ancestor of spaghetti, thicker, denser, and made with just flour and water, or sometimes duck eggs in wealthier households. Originating in the Veneto region, it was traditionally extruded using a torchio, a hand-cranked press that required serious muscle. Grandmas would take turns turning the handle while another fed the dough into the top. The result? Long, rustic strands with a rough surface perfect for grabbing onto rich sauces like anchovy, duck ragu, or onion-stewed goodness. Bigoli was celebration food, made in big batches and saved for special Sundays or feast days. The pressing process was so intense that entire families would gather around, making it part cooking, part community ritual. As electric pasta makers took over, Bigoli fell out of home kitchens. But in some corners of northern Italy, it still survives. Thick, proud, and full of character. It's not just pasta, it's a workout, a tradition, and a delicious reward all rolled into one. This musical pasta gets its name from the tool that shapes it, the chitarra, or guitar. A rectangular wooden frame strung with tightly spaced metal wires, it was used to press rolled dough into long, square-cut strands, thicker than spaghetti, but thinner than fettuccine. The dough, made with semolina and eggs, was gently pushed over the strings, creating perfectly straight, slightly rough noodles, ideal for clinging to hearty sauces. It was especially beloved in Abruzzo, often served with lamb ragu or tomato and basil. Making maccheroni alla chitarra was a full sensory experience. The resistance of the dough, the vibration of the wires, the sound it made as the strands dropped onto the board. Grandmas treasured their chitarra, often passing it down through generations. As industrial pasta took over, this hand-pressed tradition faded, but the flavor and feel of these square strands are unmatched. But if you thought square pasta was cool, wait until you see the pasta that's braided like a little rope.
10. Trofie, twisted pasta from Liguria.
Trofie, the tiny twisted pasta from Liguria, was traditionally handmade without any tools at all, just fingers and a floured table. Formed by rolling bits of dough between your palms or across the countertop, they look like tiny spirals or scrolls. The dough, made simply from semolina and water, was intentionally firm to create that signature chew. Trofie is most famously paired with Ligurian pesto, green beans, and potatoes, a dish that's both humble and deeply flavorful. Grandmas made trofie in big batches, drying them on dish towels and storing them for future meals. The pasta's grooves made it perfect for capturing nutty pesto and grated cheese in every bite. Though Trofie can be found dried in stores today, the handmade version is still a rare and precious find. It's a pasta that celebrates patience, texture, and the simplicity of good ingredients. Have you ever rolled Trofie by hand or tasted the real thing in Liguria? Let us know in the comments. Cavatelli, tiny shell-like pasta with a signature curl, are a southern Italian staple, especially in Molise, Basilicata, and Puglia. Made from semolina and water, the dough is rolled into small cylinders, then pressed and dragged with fingers or a butter knife to create their iconic groove. Grandmas could shape dozens in minutes, their hands moving in a rhythm learned over generations. Cavatelli are sturdy and chewy, ideal for heavier sauces like sausage and broccoli rabe, thick tomato gravies, or even simple garlic and olive oil. Their curved shape holds sauce perfectly, making every bite packed with flavor. Cavatelli were often made in huge quantities and dried at home, stored for quick family meals all season. Over time, commercial pasta replaced handmade traditions, and this pasta was seen less often outside of its home region. But in households where tradition still rules, Cavatelli remain a symbol of care, craft, and culinary pride. Once you've had them handmade, there's no going back. Malloreddus, also known as Sardinian gnocchetti, are tiny ridged pasta shaped like baby casks or barrels. Made from durum wheat, semolina, and water, they're rolled on a small wooden board called a sciuliere to get their classic grooves. Each one is about the size of a fingernail, but packed with flavor and texture. Sardinian grandmas made them by the hundreds, often involving children in the shaping process during festivals or weekend prep. Traditionally served with saffron in the dough and a hearty sausage ragu on top, Malloreddus was the island's answer to comfort food. Its shape and texture cling to sauces perfectly, making it ideal for rustic, meaty dishes. Though you can now buy Malloreddus dried in stores, the homemade version is still prized for its texture and golden color. In Sardinia, it's more than pasta. It's a point of regional pride. But while these pasta shapes were small, what's next is wide, flat, and built to feed a whole village. Before lasagna was a stacked, cheese-loaded dish for Sunday dinners, there was lasagnette, its thinner, more flexible cousin. Originating in central Italy, lasagnette strips were hand-cut and often used like tagliatelle, tossed in sauces instead of layered. Grandmas rolled out fresh sheets of egg pasta, dusted them with flour, and sliced them into ribbons wider than fettuccine, but slimmer than lasagna. They were the perfect marriage of lasagna's heartiness and a noodle's versatility. Lasagnette was often served with meat ragu or creamy mushroom sauces, letting the flat noodles soak up bold flavors without getting lost in layers. It was also easier to cook and quicker to make, ideal for weeknight meals. Over time, lasagnette was overshadowed by the grandeur of baked lasagna and the convenience of boxed pasta. But its charm remains. Reviving lasagnette means bringing elegance and tradition to the simplest of dishes. Just wide noodles, sauce, and love in every forkful. Orecchiette, meaning little ears, are tiny round pasta with a bowl-like center, hand-formed by pressing and dragging dough pieces with a thumb or knife. A staple in Puglia, they're traditionally made with just semolina and water, shaped on wooden boards with speed and skill. Grandmas would sit for hours, creating hundreds, often preparing them for the week or big celebrations. Orecchiette are famously paired with broccoli rabe and garlic-infused oil or meaty tomato sauces. Their cup-like shape perfectly cradles bits of sausage, greens, and cheese. Making them by hand creates a texture that boxed versions can't match, slightly rough, dense, and ideal for grabbing sauce. Though mass-produced orecchiette exist, the hand-shaped kind is a dying art. It's not just a food, it's a family ritual. Grandmas didn't just make pasta. They made memories, sitting at tables covered in flour, teaching by doing. If you want to honor southern Italy, start by shaping a few little ears of your own. Pici is Tuscany's answer to spaghetti, only thicker, hand-rolled, and infinitely more rustic. Made from flour and water, and occasionally olive oil, Pici dough is rolled into fat noodles, using nothing but your hands and a well-floured surface. There's no machine, just patience and tradition. The result? A dense, chewy noodle, perfect for bold sauces like aglione, garlic tomato, meat ragu, or simple breadcrumbs and oil. Pici originated in the Val d'Orcia region, where grandmas taught the technique to children by rolling pasta between their palms until it was just right, not too thin, not too fat. It's slow food in the truest sense. With the rise of machine-cut pasta, Pici became harder to find outside of Tuscany, but regional trattorias still serve it with pride. Making Pici today is a return to simplicity. No tools, no speed, just hands, flour, and heart. Have you ever tried making Pici from scratch, or tasted its rich, chewy bite in the hills of Tuscany? Let us know in the comments. Maltagliati literally means badly cut, but this pasta is a triumph of frugality and flavor. Born from leftover scraps of lasagna or tagliatelle dough, Maltagliati was traditionally cut into random shapes, triangles, diamonds, odd rectangles, by grandmas who wasted nothing. It was rustic, humble, and perfect for hearty soups like minestrone or pasta e fagioli. Because the pieces varied in size and thickness, every bite had a slightly different texture, adding personality to the dish. The name may sound rough, but the taste is pure comfort. Maltagliati represented the soul of old-school cooking, resourceful, unpretentious, and family-focused. Over time, as perfectly uniform pasta became the norm, these mistakes were no longer welcome on modern tables. But in traditional kitchens, they're still prized, proof that beauty doesn't always come from precision. Bringing back Maltagliati means honoring the idea that nothing should be wasted, and that love in cooking comes not from symmetry, but from intention and care. From the sun-soaked region of Salento in southern Italy comes Sagne incannulate, a flat ribbon pasta twisted into spirals by hand. Its name means coiled sagne, and it's made by rolling long strips of dough and then spiraling them around fingers or skewers. Grandmas made these in batches during festivals and feast days, pairing them with rich tomato sauces or slow-cooked meats. The twist isn't just for looks. It helps hold sauces deep within the folds, creating layers of flavor in every bite. The dough is traditionally made with semolina and water, giving it that southern chew and body. Making sagne incannulate took time and care, so it was reserved for special occasions. Today, it's rarely found outside of Puglia, and even fewer home cooks remember the technique, but its unique shape and festival roots make it a perfect revival candidate. Pasta. This beautiful isn't just food, it's art with a story, ready to be told again. Passatelli is pasta reinvented, made not from flour, but from breadcrumbs, eggs, grated Parmigiano, and a touch of nutmeg. Originally crafted in Emilia-Romagna as a clever way to use up old bread, Passatelli dough is extruded through a special iron or potato ricer into thick, worm-like strands. These are then cooked directly in broth, turning the pasta into something between a dumpling and a noodle. It's rich, comforting, and full of flavor. A dish traditionally served when someone was sick or during colder months. Grandmas prized Passatelli for its thrift and hardiness, and many had a special perforated tool passed down through generations. As dried pasta took over and fewer people made broth from scratch, this unique tradition slipped quietly away. But for those who remember it, Passatelli is the definition of soulful cooking, warm, resourceful, and deeply tied to family care. One bowl of this and you'll understand. Some of the best pasta doesn't come from flour. But we're not done yet. Our final two recipes are as rare as they are unforgettable. Fileja is Calabria's answer to hand-shaped pasta. Long, spiral tubes wrapped around a thin rod or skewer, usually made with nothing more than durum wheat and water. Grandmas would take tiny ropes of dough, roll them onto the rod, and slide them off into beautiful hollow curls. The result was a rustic, chewy pasta that held chunky sauces like a champ, especially spicy nduja ragu or eggplant-laden sugos. Fileja was more than a dish. It was a bonding ritual. Multiple generations would gather to shape them, each person perfecting the twist technique. Its name and shape can vary by village, Maccheroni in some, fusilli calabresi in others, but the love behind the pasta is always the same. Today, Fileja is mostly found at Calabrian festivals or local trattorias, rarely making it into commercial pasta lines. But if you want to make something truly handmade, truly southern, and truly unforgettable, bring back Fileja. It's pasta with a twist, literally.
Tajarin is pasta at its most elegant. Delicate, silky strands made with an egg-rich dough that glows golden yellow. A Piedmontese specialty, Tajarin dough can contain up to 30 egg yolks per kilogram of flour, producing a rich texture and color that feels almost decadent. Grandmas would knead it slowly, roll it paper thin, then slice it into fine ribbons with a sharp knife. No machines, just hand precision. Often served with butter and sage, shaved truffles, or meat sauces, Tajarin was considered a noble pasta, reserved for holidays or guests of honor. The labor-intensive process and rich ingredients made it a showstopper, but also a rarity. As time went on, quicker pastas became the norm, and this golden treasure faded from daily meals. But Tajarin deserves a revival, not just for its taste, but for its craftsmanship. It's pasta that glows with love, tradition, and the skill of generations. Have you ever tasted real Tajarin, or seen yolk-rich dough made by hand? Let us know in the comments.
I hope you enjoyed this journey through Italy's forgotten pasta treasures. Which one will you try first? Share your favorites and pass the tradition on. Subscribe for more stories. Until next time.